I'm going to do an insight video today. I've been talking a lot about self-realization principles. I've also talked about like soul roles, and I've talked about a lot of the stuff that sort of like seems to be coming in through like consciousness and creation these days is around like this concept and this understanding of consciousness and the internal moment of now. What does this really mean? What does it mean when you talk about like the eternal moment of now? And sort of like all of your power is in the now moment, which is one of the self-realization principles. What it's really telling you is that you are a conscious creative being, and you are energy and light. And consciousness is the sort of like the formula that when you raise your consciousness, it brings energy into reality and into form and into matter. So everything you create within your own energy, within your own thoughts, is sort of like then becomes reality. So this is how we start to live in vibration, we live in frequency, and this is how we start to align with what I call source living. And source living is expressing from your source, your essence. But it's also the understanding that, through consciousness, that you are sort of a creator of your own creation. Again, this is a self realization sort of like principle. You are the creator of your own creation, and it's the understanding that nothing, you're not waiting for anything to happen. It's already here. It's already here now in this now moment. And now moment is connected to oneness. Oneness is the understanding that there's no separation. There's no separation in consciousness, in creation, and the infinite sort of like vibrations and frequencies of source creation and source reality. There is no separation. And it also sort of like connects to what people say is like heaven on earth. When they talk about heaven on earth, they say that heaven on earth is not a place, it's a reality. And it's also sort of, again, it's about creation. It's the understanding that within the oneness and within this now moment, that there is no separation. So although we, as in spiritual realities and dimensions and realms, we talk about like beings and sort of like teachers and guides and like universal sort of teachers and light and frequencies and infinite vibrations, well, they're not separate. They are you and you are them. And this is the understanding of oneness, that oneness is there is no separation. And it's also the understanding, like another self realization principle talks about like that you're on a journey, you're on a journey here now, and then it doesn't end. You just continue. So in a sense, it's talking about again this infinite like infinity and the infinite vibration frequency of like the infinity symbol. It always sort of like shows itself like a horizontal 8, but whenever I see the infinity symbol, whenever it's given to me, it's always vertical. um and like the infinity symbol is talking about this kind, the infinite vibration, the infinite frequency, and again the infinite self, that nothing is separate and everything is always vibrating as one. There is no separation. The only separation is when you sort of like create a separation within yourself, within your consciousness, within your energy, and you start to understand that everything is available here now. And this is something else I talk about, the here now moment, and I say here now, and this is something that comes through in my mind and in my consciousness regularly. I was also thinking about the other day, just thinking about thoughts and feelings, and I was getting sort of like an impression when I was sensing it and aligning with it. um, a lot of us sort of like, we get thoughts within our mind, within our like what we feel is like a physical mind, but it's really our conscious mind. It's our infinite conscious mind that's connected to our infinite self. You get thoughts that relate to harmony, peace, sort of like wisdom, integrating within reality, and ways of approaching things differently, like life and stuff like that. Sometimes we see those as physical thoughts. We see those as our mind creating them, when actually it's not. It's our infinite self aligning with us. And any kind of thought or sort of like insight that it comes through to you that is beyond. It's not just thinking about this world, but it's thinking about everything in a more spiritual terms. Well, that's coming from the infinite wisdom of your infinite self that remains as part of your a big part of your consciousness that remains within what you call source reality. Although this physical reality is like a 3D reality, the physical world outside, even though it's not, it's an energetic reality because there's many layers to that. However, you know, you touch a desk, you tap it, and it makes a sound, and it feels solid. It's not solid, but that's how it appears. And when we're in this physical form, that's how it appears. So the infinite self lives in the energetic realms, the infinite dimensions of source reality that are you're still connected to, and the infinite self works with the soul, bringing wisdom, insight, purpose, and integration to align and walk what your purpose is. But also remember that your soul's here, or your soul has a purpose, as all purpose, or like as all beings with souls have. You know, everything that works within the infinite dimensions work in pure harmony, in union and alignment. And when we're sort of like in these realities and realms of light, each soul integrated consciousness and awareness to bring to this age. So we all have keys of consciousness. Now that's not to say that we're separate. We're not. Again, it's not separation. It's alignment for unification. It's for harmony. It's to bring a new spiritual wisdom, new spiritual integration within this reality. This is why all souls incarnate, as also to come down and create with source energy and source vibration. You know, the soul only knows joy, only knows sort of like union, only knows alignment. It's the physical aspect of ourself that separates us from our soul, and the physical aspect of ourself that separates us from our infinite self. And we only do that when we live in limitation, when we live in like restriction, which is what we do. And again, this is another principle. If you resist one thing, so it's resistance, not restriction. I feel like I'm being corrected there. Resistance. If you resist one thing, you resist all things. And this is the nature of harmony. This is the nature of flow. This is the nature of that energy flowing into your reality, into your energetic body. If you resist one thing, then you're not open. All you're seeing is limitation. So you've got a very narrow view. As if you don't resist anything and you allow the flow to happen, then you open up to an infinite flow, an infinite potential in the power of now, in that now moment. And again, this is some of the insights that are starting to align with me through integration, but also through sort of like my consciousness is changing. You know, we all have moments where we feel the energy isn't, we feel like we're not aligned with our true self, so our true nature. Well, that is to do with what we're reflecting, what we're creating. This is not a truth. This is sort of like an illusion, really. We're always aligned with our true self. We cannot be that which we are not. We are always it. We're always this infinite being. The only thing that stops is our human mind, and when we attach to something, or we entangle to something outside of ourselves, and we see it as happening to us, not happening through us, as us or for us. And again, that's another principle where it says that everything that's working through is created for you. And in the infinite power of now, and the eternal moment, and the oneness vibration and frequency of source creation, we understand that every moment is this infinite potential, in that moment is infinite potential always, and it never ends and it never begins. It may appear differently, but that is appearing differently through our energy and our consciousness and what we're creating in that moment. Everything is a reflection of what we're creating in that moment, in the power of now. And it's the understanding that, you know, whatever you're creating, as you are the creator of your own creation in your reality, and also what you focus on is another principle. What you focus on creates your reality. So whatever you're focusing on is creating your reality. So if you're focusing on limitation and you're focusing on lack, then that's what you're going to that's what you're going to receive, because you're not open to the infinite potential, not open to the infinite possibilities that are available. And when we start to live in a place where we become free, and we become sort of open, we start to receive those infinite possibilities and those infinite potentials within this now moment. And this is how we all dissolve. This is how we all open. This is how we start to gain awareness, and it's by living in that moment, and the understanding that moment is always available, and also we're all deserving of it. There's this notion that, in a sense that, a lot of the time that we look at ourselves, and we don't see ourselves as these infinite beings. We see ourselves as lacking and in limitation. And when we do that, then we limit ourselves, when actually we are these beautiful beings of infinite creation and consciousness and light and energy, and we always have been and we always will be. We cannot be that which we're not. So it's an understanding that when we start to live like that, that we live like in true abundance, and consciousness that we are always in the flow and we're always receiving, then that becomes our reality. But if we live in lacking and resistance and limitation, then that becomes our reality. But they're both being created from us and through us and as us. But they're each available, but it's a choice. And it's whatever we tend to choose. And this is what consciousness and creation is all about, is choice. And a lot of us sort of like believe something is happening to us when actually it's happening for us. And it's happening for us because it's trying to guide us through the energy and the light to this understanding that everything is always happening for us, not to us. If we live in resistance and we live in this sense of things that are happening to us, then we limit ourselves. But if we live in a state where we're open and we understand that all conscience and creation works through us, for us, and as us, then we start to see that the flow is always within that eternal moment. It's always within oneness, and it's always flowing to us and for us and as us, so that we can create and manifest from a place of infinite sort of energy and infinite sort of vibration and frequency. And this is again source living. This is what source creation, this is the gift from source. And it's the understanding when we start to align with this. So this is a little insight in today into like talking about the self-realization principles and talking about energy and the flow and the eternal now and the oneness moment. Because the one of the key things is like all everything that I ever look at now, everything I ever access, everything that ever comes to me, I see oneness in all its forms in it, because nothing is ever separate and everything is linked. If I just look past the surface stuff and look a bit deeper with wisdom and insight, I always see the oneness. I always see how things are always connected and integrated and unified and aligned. And this is the real true gift of oneness, the true gift of understanding. And when we can live in that oneness, then we're truly free. We're truly free in the infinite moment, and knowing that that moment is always expanding. It's always expanding, and it's always flowing, and it's always, there's abundance in there, and it's always flowing to us and through us and for us. And when we start to understand that, then we start to really truly live free, and we truly live within our essence and connect to that infinite self, that our source energy, our source creator, the source vibration frequency that is within each and every one of us. And then we start to become everything that we are. We cannot be that which we're not. We're always that which we are, which is this infinite being. And again, another one of the, just before I go, I'm going to say one of those other principles. It says you get more of what you are, not what you want. So again, that's a key sort of vibrational frequency and shift in understanding that just create what you want. Create what you are. I mean, create more of what you are, not what you want. So what I mean by that is consciously start to create that which you want within your reality, within your time, within your energy, within your life. And the more that you create that, the more it becomes your reality. So it's not about wanting, it's about choosing. There's a big shift in consciousness when you start to understand that. We're not waiting for something to happen. And again, this is another principle. And this one I always find this one really very powerful. You're everything you always wish to be, you already are. And again, it's that kind of concept, it's that understanding that you're not waiting for anything. You're already it. You've always been it. It's just that you're searching for something that you already are. And this is like the real sort of thing when you start thinking about it. It really sort of blows my mind sometimes, because it's like we're always searching for something, but you're already it. You always have been. And you're looking everywhere else but within you. And when you look within you, you can see it, you can feel it. It exists, it vibrates within you. And all you have to do is align with it. So each and every one's have that ability, and this is the source creator within each every being. Well, that's the insight for today. Have a great day. Please comment, subscribe, like. Like I said, have a great day.